In this video, we're going to compare the Yamaha AG06 to the Mackie MobileMix. Both of these are small, compact audio mixers, but what really sets them apart is both of these audio mixers are USB powered. Being USB powered opens up a whole world of possibilities that we're going to talk about as we compare both of these audio mixers to one another. So we're going to compare them so you can see the similarities and the differences. Then I'm going to talk about how and why I use both of these on a regular basis for very different reasons. Then I'm going to give you my recommendation as to which one of these I think you should buy if you're wanting to record at home, do live streaming, or do live sound. Now, first of all, the equipment in this video I do want to briefly talk about are the Yamaha AG06 and the Mackie MobileMix. For the AG06, there is a more recent version of the AG06 here that has three main changes. I'm going to talk about this as well as we compare them. But the AG06 did get mute buttons on the second version of this, so you can mute either one of the microphones. The phantom power that's only available on the microphone 1 is now available on both microphones, so you can run two condenser microphones at once. And this aux input, they changed and upgraded, so not only is it an aux input from your phone or mobile device, but it will also send a return signal if you're using a TRRS cable, so you can live stream from your phone as well. I'm going to talk about those more as we compare them. If you're coming with the AG06 Mark II, just know that I'm aware of that. I'm going to talk about it in this video as well. Now, if you are looking for pricing or specs for either one of these devices, we have links down in the description below. So you can click those links and it'll find the best price possible from a variety of online retailers. So hopefully you can save some money there. Next, let's talk about why a USB audio mixer is important. To me, having a USB power supply for either one of these unlocks a whole bunch of different potential. First of all, if you're just putting this on your desk, it's cleaner because you can just connect it to your computer instead of running a power supply to the wall or something like that. Second, now you can do a whole bunch of different remote recording possibilities or remote sound system opportunities. If you need to record a remote podcast somewhere that you don't have a power supply, you can just connect a USB power bank to either one of these audio mixers, power the mixer, and do your recording that way. Also, if you're doing a remote sound system, I do this quite a bit, you can just power your audio mixer with a battery bank, connect to a battery powered speaker, and you're good for 5 or 10 hours with no problem. So if you're just doing a quick event and you're too lazy to run extension cords across doorways and tape everything down, this is a way easier, cleaner solution, and you can set up and take down way faster. Okay, first of all, let's take a look at how the USB power supply works on the Yamaha. In terms of powering the Yamaha, you really have two options. On the back of this device, there's a USB option that connects to your computer. Now this will not only power the device, but it will give you a whole bunch of data options as well. You can record directly to your computer using this output on the back of the audio mixer. We're going to talk about that more later. And it will power supply the mixer itself. So if you just want to connect this to your computer, you can. There's also a second 5-volt USB input on the back. And this you can run off a battery bank or any other type of USB power supply, and this will power the audio mixer without the need of any sort of data to or from on the computer. So that's pretty unique. Now on the Mackie MobileMix, you have two options to power this as well. On the back of the audio mixer, you can see that there is the 5-volt 2-amp USB-C plug in there, but also on the bottom of the audio mixer here, there is a little trap door, and you can hide a USB battery bank in here, and it will connect directly to the audio mixer and power it that way. This little cable does come out. You can pull it out and switch it for whatever you need. So if you're connecting USB-C directly, or if you're using a USB-C to USB-A connector, you can do that as well. So your battery bank can be hidden within the mixer, or you can connect it right to the back in order to power the Mackie. Next, in terms of microphone inputs, both of these are very similar again, but they are quite a bit different. Let's start on the Yamaha. So at the top of the Yamaha here, you can see that you get two XLR combination jack inputs. You can see for the first channel here on the first generation, you only get 48 volts of phantom power on one of these microphones, but on the second gen, the button will activate phantom power for both microphones. You can add a pad to it, so if you're bringing a line level signal or something really strong into this channel, you can kind of put a pad on it and reduce that signal so you have a cleaner signal. Then you have your preamp here. The gain for the Yamaha AG06, they don't publish it, but to me it feels very similar to the Yamaha MG10 series, which has 64 dB of gain. So there's a ton of gain. If I'm connecting a Shure SM7B, I don't need a cloud lifter or anything like that. I can run directly to this and it will power it properly. Now below that, you get a DSP. So if you connect this to your computer, it opens up a window where you get all types of different settings that you can play with. One is that you can add a compressor and set all the settings exactly how you want. And there's a digital parametric EQ in there, so you can click and drag the EQ to your liking. Below that, there's also an effects engine that works within the DSP as well. You can control that separately from the compression and EQ. This will give you all the reverbs and stuff like that that you want. Then you get your level knob. As I mentioned before, on the second version of this audio mixer, there is a mute button right here, so you can mute the microphone as well. Now, what's slightly different is that these two channels work different from one another. On the second channel, you can do a XLR microphone if you want, and you can do 48 volts of phantom power to supply a condenser microphone. And there's a pad like there is on the first channel. But if you're doing a 1/4-inch instrument, you can change the impedance. So you can connect your electric guitar straight to this audio mixer, change the impedance, and it will sound better on your recording. You get your preamp here that's the same as channel 1. Then you get an amp simulator, so all the distortion and effects. So this is really optimized for a guitar. Again, if you connect this to your computer, you get a whole world of settings there. And then you get the same reverb and effects that you get on channel 1, and then your level knob. Now compare that to the Mackie here. You do get 2 XLR combination jack inputs, just like we do on the Yamaha, but both of these are exactly identical to one another. You do get your gain right at the top of the channel strip here. What's different to the Yamaha is you get only about 50 dB of gain, so it's about 14 dB less. So if you are using a hard to power dynamic microphone for a podcast, this is going to be lacking the power, but you can turn on 48 volts of phantom power and use some type of inline preamp to give you more gain if you want, like a cloud lifter or a dynamite or a fathead or something like that. Below here, we don't have a pad like we have on the Yamaha. What we have is we have the instrument button on both channels, so you can connect 2 guitars to this if you want. So if that's what you're working with, you can do that instead of 2 microphones. And then there's 2 high pass filters or low frequency roll off. So there's no pad, but you can roll off those lower frequencies, which sounds really nice on microphones. Next, we get a 2-band EQ that works without being connected to a computer, so you can turn down the highs or turn up the lows if you want, and that works really well. Next, you do get an effects engine that's available on most of the channels on this audio mixer, so you can turn up your effects send, then you can choose if you want your plate, your hall, or your reverb, and then you don't need it connected to a computer or anything like that. This will work just for you on the mixer itself. Then you get your level knob at the bottom. While we're talking about microphone inputs here, I do just want to say that Yamaha has this other little headset section here that says 2-channel 1 and headphones. So you can connect some type of over-ear headset to it, connect the microphone there, and if you connect to here, it'll replace the audio or input from this first XLR input. So you can choose to plug it in through the 1/8-inch jack there or an XLR cable here, whatever suits you. For streamers and people recording at their computer, this is a really nice option that you can connect there as well. The Mackie doesn't have something like that. Next, let's take a look at the stereo inputs here. On the Yamaha here, you do get a 1/4-inch stereo line level input, and you can change that between high and low gain. So if you are connecting a microphone to it, you could leave it on high gain. And if you're connecting a pure line level source, then you could leave it on low gain and then check the level that you want here. Beside that, we have a stereo RCA input here, again with high and low gain, and then you can set your input level for that using the volume knob here. On the Mackie, we have a little bit different here. We have a stereo input here on the back that's 3/4. That comes in here. You get a preamp on it, which is better than just high or low, so you can be more detailed. You get a 2-band EQ on this. This has actually saved me quite a bit of time. If you're doing an event or something, somebody brings in something with horrendous audio and you just need to roll the low end out, you can do that really quick and it'll save you. Then you can apply effects to it as well. So if you do want to add that reverb to it, you can, and then you set your level. Now beside that, we get another stereo input, but this is disguised as a TRRS jack. How this works is you connect your phone to this, and again, you do get the preamp at the top, then you get the ability to add effects or reverb to it if you want, then you can set your level. Now the Yamaha doesn't have any type of Bluetooth connectivity at all, but over on the Mackie, we do have a Bluetooth connected channel here, so you can press this button, pair it to your phone, and then set the level of that device or phone or computer, whatever you connected through Bluetooth, as another input on the Mackie that you don't have on the Yamaha. Well, we're talking about phone inputs here. On the first gen AG06, that's it. You can't really connect this thing to your phone unless you use the USB output on the back, which we're going to talk about in a minute. On the second gen of the Yamaha, like I said, this aux input got converted to a TRRS jack, so you can connect that to your phone and stream to your phone that way and have it come back as well and adjust the level there if you want to use your phone as an input. On the Mackie device here, they went kind of nuts with this idea. The channel 5.6 here has a TRRS jack, so it works exactly the same. You can send audio from your phone to the mixer and from your mixer to your live stream. Then they also gave you this phone 1 input here, which is another copy of the same thing. So you can send another input into the audio mixer, change the volume, and then you can send your feed out to the phone. On this phone 1 input, you can say whether or not you want it high or low gain. You can choose between line level or camera level, they call it, and that works really well. So in terms of phone connectivity, only the second gen Yamaha has this option, and the Mackie MobileMix has a whole bunch of different options for you. Now, in terms of computer connectivity, the USB on the Mackie MobileMix is just for powering the audio mixer. None of those USB inputs can talk to a computer in any way. On the Yamaha AG06, this whole mixer is really built around talking to the computer and working with the computer. All the effects work that way. All the amp sim, the compression, the EQ, all the processing, you're kind of relying on that computer interface in order to help you with this. And you can also just connect this to your computer and record. Now, also with all these computer options on the Yamaha AG06 here, you can change how that USB in-out works. So obviously you can always edit your channels here, but you can choose whether or not you want to send a dry version of channel 1 and 2 if you want a clean recording that's unmodified. This is usually what most people would do if they're doing a recording. Or you could do the input mix, which will send the whole stereo mix from the audio mixer. So not just the first 2 channels, but everything all mixed down to your computer for the recording. Or you can do loopback mode, which will send the whole mix from this audio mixer to the computer, but it'll also bring a signal back from the computer as a mix minus. And this works really well if you are doing something like online meetings or a Riverside meeting or something like that, a Riverside recording. So that will work really well for you. There's a whole bunch of different options on the Yamaha here for USB recording that just don't exist on the Mackie. Next, in terms of traditional outputs on this, the Yamaha has a headphone output here that is 1/8 inch. It has a headphone output up at the top here, that's 1/4 inch. It has the main stereo output, which is dual left and right 1/4 inch outputs for your main stereo mix. But you also get the monitor outputs here, which would go to like desk monitors, and it gets its own volume knob here, which is really nice as well. Now there is no master volume on the Yamaha AG06. Instead, they gave you a volume output for your headphones and a volume output for your monitors. And then you set your main stereo output using your level here on your mix. Now on the Mackie, it works a little bit different. So you get your main stereo left and right output on the back of this device. Then you also get these 2, mix 1 and mix 2. These are basically headphone outputs, or if you need to go to another recording device or something like that. But these are independent outputs that you can control the volume of separately from your main stereo mix. If you look at the top of the Mackie here, this green knob will control the output of your main stereo output. And up here, you get these knobs for those outputs 1 and 2 on the back. You do also have an 1/8 inch headphone jack here, so no 1/4 inch headphone jack. And then you can control that with its own volume knob here as well. Okay, that can be a lot of information there, but let's talk about how I actually use both of these devices, because I actually use both of them quite a bit for very different reasons. The Yamaha AG06 lives on my main desk, and it's my daily driver. It's what I use every single day at my desk. I have this connected to my laptop, and that's how I edit. I have a microphone connected to this, and that's how I do online meetings and that type of thing. I love that on the Yamaha AG06, I can have my headphones connected to this as 8 inch or 1/4 inch, depending if I have the adapter or not. If I'm too lazy to take it on or off, I can just connect it wherever I want. But also, I can switch between headphones and studio monitors. So I have my studio monitors connected to the monitor output here. And sometimes I edit on my headphones or work on my headphones, and sometimes I want everything coming out of my studio monitors. In terms of the stereo pairs on this audio mixer, I have one of them connected to, I have a ham radio, I have my ham radio license, so I'm always listening and talking on radio traffic around the world. So that's super cool. That comes in there, and I can choose to have that on my headphones, or I can choose to have it on my studio monitors using these volume knobs here. Beside that, I have my RCA inputs here come from my record player. So if I'm listening to vinyl, when I'm working at my desk, I can control the volume of that, and again, use it in my headphones or on the studio monitors as I want. When I'm editing and working, I can use the USB connectivity and the USB volume knob here to connect to my computer. So if I'm watching YouTube videos, listening to music, or working or editing, I can do all that there. Now, if I'm recording anything, I have these dry input and loopback modes, so it makes it really easy to use this thing on a daily basis. For the Mackie MobileMix, I use this thing very differently. I don't have this thing on my desk at all. It doesn't have the computer connectivity that I want for being on my desk. I use this thing a lot for live events. Now, people know that I do audio, and they ask me to come help out all the time, and I'm way too lazy to run extension cords, tape the cables down and all that. So I throw a USB battery bank in the back of this, I grab a battery powered speaker, I can connect a microphone to this, and they're happy, and it'll go for 5 to 10 hours without having any issues for power, and it works really great for that. So that's how I use the MobileMix. So when we talk about my recommendations for you here, it's really, really easy. If you're looking for a device that's on your desk, so if you're doing home recording, I recommend the AG06 over the Mackie MobileMix. I think it has more features in it that are more geared to recording and being connected to your computer. Same for live streaming. I live stream with this quite a bit, and I do online meetings and all that type of stuff with this. It's really, really easy to use. It's really small. It fits on the desk great. I love using this for that. Now, when it comes to live sound, I don't think you can beat the MobileMix. I think the MobileMix does a better job of doing things in a live sound way. You're not reliant on being connected to your computer to make simple EQ changes. It has more options that you want for live sound in terms of a high pass filter, that impedance mode for instruments. It has the effects engine built in that you can use without a computer. This thing is really, really great for live events. And the Yamaha AG06 is really slow and clumsy for live events. There's no way you could do EQ or effects on this thing in a live environment that's not at your home connected to a computer. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. Again, if you are looking for pricing or specs for either one of these, I have links down in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.